Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so just got through watching as much of the Laker game as I could, with the links not really being of service to me tonight. But I got enough of it and was able to see the highlights to where I can kind of give you what I usually do, which is my commentary. So this is what I saw. The Lakers. The story tonight, truthfully, was the Lakers getting hot from behind the arc. The stats tell you that they shot 45% from three, and that's really what was the difference. Because to be real, the stats also tell you that pretty much Oklahoma City won the game in other areas that really were key. They outboarded us, they turned the ball over less, and they had situations down there where they were getting in our paint repeatedly, just doubling our paint production basically. So essentially, what you saw was the same threes that the Lakers always take when they shoot too many threes. Tonight they had a good night and made them, and that's why they won the game. If they miss threes like they normally miss threes, it's probably an overtime game. It's probably one of them games where we're struggling with a bad team because really we didn't do anything different. To be honest with you, we had LeBron James step up, get strong, with early scoring numbers, and really putting an emphasis on not allowing us to lose tonight. Without Anthony Davis, I thought the offense looked better. I'm not gonna even lie to you guys. Without him being stagnant down there, without him kind of having to, kind of being such a draw, tends to give the defense a lot to kind of work with as it pertains to guys standing around while watching him operate. Nothing usually comes of that in those cases. We didn't have those possessions tonight. We saw more ball movement tonight. We saw more perimeter play. Those shots that I said that Wayne Ellington should be getting, he got them tonight. Um, and that was most important. We got a lot more out of those two guys that I just said we need to be benching permanently, basically, or for a while. Avery Bradley and Wayne Ellington really played ball well tonight. You got to give credit to Avery Bradley because he was the guy who was pretty much the second most productive player out there from what the stats showed me. He just got off to a very early shot start and hit a lot of shots and was doing things. So, it's one of those situations where some days when you get to this point in your career, some days you really have it. And tonight Avery had it for us. Now the question is, can he do that again? Can he do it consistently? The answer is absolutely not. You got a good game out of Avery Bradley, and you need to appreciate it. If he goes on a great stretch, perfect. But he's an older guy now, and I still haven't changed what I felt about benching him, especially as our guy Austin Reeves continues to get more healthy and get back into the swing of things. And that's what I want to talk about, Austin Reeves. That was so very key, giving him a regular amount of minutes tonight. He's finally healthy enough to really run, and his smart plays, the things that he does well, were the difference, in my opinion, in terms of the eye test. When you watch basketball, the team is better with him on the floor, especially offensively. He was able to do things, making something out of nothing in certain cases, hitting big three, corner threes, just making good plays, good passes, stuff like that. You, when you have players who play hard but tend to turn the ball over and things of that nature, like we have, it's very important to offset that with high IQ basketball players who are really the opposite of that, who hit efficient shots, who take care of the basketball, who pass the rock well, who play good defense. Our guy Austin Reeves essentially is the great antithesis to all of the things that we don't do well as a team. And that's why he's such a compliment to our team, because he doesn't play frivolous with the basketball. He takes possession seriously. He does play defense. He, as I said, he does pass the rock and look to make others better. He does hit his shots. He does stay aggressive. He is a good free throw shooter. I'm telling you guys, this dude, this undrafted rookie, may be our eighth or seventh best player on this entire roster right now. And he's working his way back into shape. And I'm telling you, his play was a massive part of why we looked better. And he's one of our best 3-point shooters. Now, I don't know how many 3-point shots he took, so I can't really say that I'm certain that he affected that area of the ball directly. But his good passes, his good play, his good motioning, his youthful legs, all of that stuff really did complement the team in ways that we needed him to tonight. So to have him back out there is a breath of fresh air, and his high basketball IQ was one of the reasons why we were able to be very dominant tonight. So that's something. Him, you know, I want to give the game ball to Avery Bradley just because I really, really been getting on his case so bad. Um, Basically saying he needs to be, benched. And while, like I said, I'm not wavering from that because I zoom out and I understand there's a lot of basketball to play, and this is one good game out of 20 games that really haven't been that great. So I'm just happy to see good play. But at the end of the day, it is great to see um, guys shut me up. You know what I mean? That's why I want to give him the game ball because I'm talking about shutting him down. If I would have shut him down, it would have been a bad decision because he balled out. So I love being wrong when it comes to guys taking my pessimism and turning it into real production, I guess. So that's how I'm looking at that. I also really, really enjoyed the fact that we continue to just find ourselves in situations where, despite um, being down AD, we were still able to come into a game with a certain level of intensity that maybe was missing in the last game. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. And that's what I wanted to see, was just the Lakers not necessarily take the momentum from yesterday's game and carry it over into this game. What I'm gathering is this team is all over the place. There is no tangible identity at this time. We are just game to game, and whatever you get out of us from game to game is just what you're going to get at this stage of the game. Russell Westbrook was kind of quiet in some ways. He had some turnovers that were just glaring, very, very difficult to see, but he did enough. We got the win, so I mean, this isn't a good 2-game stretch for Russie, in my opinion. He didn't have his best game, but LeBron was on. That's what it really came down to. Bron was on. He took it upon himself to make sure that he's filled up the stat sheet, both offensively, defensively. He was all over the place, scoring the ball, hitting shots, being active. And what he's able to do in year 19 with his body, particularly continuing to be aggressive and driving in the lane and finishing and stuff like that, I think it's just amazing. It's really amazing. You see guys his age are not moving like that if they're on the floor at all. And he's continuing to be able to keep up. He's such a fluent basketball player, obviously, since he's one of the GOATs, but you just want to zero in on the fact that he really plays well with anybody. If guys can just hit shots when he gets them to pass, if guys can just run a little bit, he gonna make it look good. And I felt like his assist game wasn't really what he was focusing on this evening, and it was helpful because we needed the scoring. So that was the most important thing. Just seeing him score heavy, take it personal, wanting to punish this bad team and not lose a third game straight to them. So I thought that was really good. What else, man? So those were some of the things I saw. THT, I didn't really get a chance to really look at too much of him. He wasn't on the screen when I was watching very much, but he was active tonight. Kind of quiet for Malik Monk. He didn't really have the type of usage that he normally does because of the influx of the other guys playing well at that guard spot, but we did see him out there. And the Lakers got a nice win, I mean, it's always nice when you get a victory, especially when you're struggling. But I don't want anybody to think that the Lakers have exercised their demons in any way. The only thing that the Lakers really did tonight was hit 3-point shots. And all of the other stuff that's wrong, including going small ball and letting yourself get out rebounded repeatedly, we did all that tonight. Turning the ball over more than the other team, we did that tonight. Getting just destroyed in the paint, we did that tonight. So these things didn't go away. If we would have played a good team tonight, probably would have got beat just like we always do. I would love to be more emphatic about the Lakers, especially on a win, but I know better. I literally know better. I've watched so much basketball. I know when a bad team just has a good night, that's what we had. And it wasn't even a good night. We just ran into a bad team, a much worse team. But there were some things that you liked about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Very, very much so, as a matter of fact. Man, that kid is really good. Trey Mann, did he jump off the screen tonight? I think he put everybody on notice with that dunk that he had over Wayne Ellington earlier. And he just popped off the screen. His handle is sharp. I really, really like what I saw from him from a dribbling perspective. He hit some shots. He was just doing a lot of good things on the offensive end for their team. And I just felt like, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to step into the rookie rankings very soon. He's going to emerge right now, basically. So keep an eye on Trey Mann. I really like him. Jeremiah Robinson Earl is a player I've been hearing a lot about. Saw him tonight. He's a very active player. Really like what I saw there. Lou Dort hit some shots, was really good. And during the stretches I saw, Josh Giddey was back out there. Was very active doing the things that he does very well. SGA, of course, was out there. I couldn't really get a grasp for what type of game he was having. It was almost like he was just kind of by the wayside to my eyesight based on the times that I was able to see the game and the highlights. So I don't know how he did necessarily. He didn't really pop off the screen as much as some of the other players on their team for me. Now, here's something that's also kind of funny. Poku. I've always seen good stats from Poku. And, you know, I remember discovering him in fantasy basketball last year, so I know what type of player he is as it pertains to the production he gives you. He's got long arms, you know, a very, very, very interesting prospect as it pertains to what he's going to be able to do as he grows. But I have to laugh and say I have yet to see him play well, personally. Every time I see him play, he looks like the worst guy on the floor. I'm sorry, just like literally all the time. His shot selection is horrific. Some of his stuff is just really awkward. He did have some nice plays in the highlights, stuff like that, some good passes. Like I said, his arms are long, and he really does do some good things for them, getting transition scoring and stuff like that. So I know he can play. It's just one of those ironic things where every time I see him, he's playing horribly, like god-awful every single time. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play well because I know better. I've seen the stats. I know what he can do. It just doesn't translate to what I've seen. So that's just nothing. Let's see. Derek Favors, always give him credit because he's the only vet on that young team, and he always plays well. He didn't really have it like that tonight, but you know, I think he's working his way back from injury, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the thing. Theo Maledon, I saw him out there a lot. He's another guy that's noteworthy for their squad. I think I already mentioned Lou Dort. He shot well. So, yeah, man, some good stuff out there. Good stuff from both teams, to be completely honest with you. Like I said, Oklahoma City Thunder, they're a struggling basketball team, but they did win some serious categories, and they should feel really good about some of those categories that they won, particularly in the paint with the Lakers. You look at that discrepancy, you understand that if the Lakers would have played anybody else, they probably would have had some real issues. Or more importantly, if they wouldn't have shot the ball as well as they did, they would have had some real issues. But, you know, AD, I got to say something. The team looked like they were really, really, really better without him tonight. They just looked better. They did. It was more flow to the offense. It was more movement. More, you know, I saw better 3-point shots, better plays out there. It was just it seemed like guys were more loose. It seemed like LeBron James was more loose in terms of being able to attack without trying to consider to getting the ball to that big player that's going to kind of slow things down. So Anthony Davis is going to have to figure himself out. I mean, we're getting to a point where people are starting to yap about wanting to trade him and stuff. I'm not on that. But I just understand that tonight did not help because the team looked better without him, cut and dry. So that's something that we need to really, really, really just evaluate and looking at how we can manage to not let that be the case. But he's going to have to get faster. If nothing else, I want to see him just slim down over the next several months. And by the time the playoffs come around, if he can be a slimmer version of himself, I think he'll be a faster version. So I'm going to say that every day until I start seeing changes. And for the time being, just rest and get healed up and all that good stuff. So, yeah, we got some good stuff out of Dwight and DJ. You know, we didn't play them very much, but they were active for the minutes that they got out there. You know, we were going small a lot of the time, and you know, it just was what it was. But when they were out there, we were able to get some boards out of them and stuff like that, and that was all I was able to see. So Frank is dead set on getting these small ball lineups down there and not really caring too much about matching up with size. And fortunately enough, tonight it didn't hurt us. So I don't expect the Lakers to shoot 45% from three and hit 19 threes every night. They're not. In fact, they're probably going to hit more like 9 every night. The problem is they're going to attempt the 40-something that they did tonight every night, and that's the problem. We fall in love with the three-point arc, and it only works once in a while. Tonight is that once in a while. So I don't think that helps us at all, because what that's going to do is make this team think that they can actually still shoot, and they shouldn't be shooting. So this was a false positive as far as I'm concerned. You do not want the Lakers thinking that they could be this Golden State Warriors or some stupid crap like that. And a game like tonight will make them think that they can be. So I think this could actually have a reverse effect on us, to be completely honest with you, especially given how bipolar this team has been from game to game to game. So yeah, I'm not overexcited. We went into Oklahoma City, we got a victory like we were supposed to, and that's that. Still same problems, still same concerns. Nothing about tonight's game made me feel any better about this team at all. Nothing. It's just nice to be a fan on a night where we won. That's it. That's literally it. I give credit to the Oklahoma City Thunder for playing hard. I felt like they were outmatched because LeBron James was just being Bron on them, basically. He wasn't having it. And that was that. That was a testimony to them getting on our radar, making sure that they established themselves in them first 2 games as a team that we couldn't get comfortable against, given the fact that we blew, 20-point leads, 18-point leads, respectively, or something like that. Some roundabout number that was ridiculous. So, Bron was going to definitely come in with the intent of not letting that be a third, and they just had no answer for ultimately his aggression. So that's also a good part of what we had happen for ourselves. So yeah, man, thank God Avery Bradley had it tonight. Thank God Wayne Ellington was able to get some more shots this evening. Like I said, my boy Austin Reeves, how happy I am with his play. And like I said, the King, the King just wasn't having it with this bad team tonight. So that's that, man. That is that. I don't know who the Lakers play next. Didn't check. I rarely do. It's one of those things where I'll know and I'll talk to you guys about it right before. But it's just the same old song for me. I was not pleased with the small ball stuff. I was not pleased with all those threes. It just is what it is. But we find ourselves in situations where every dog has his day, and tonight was ours. So we'll take the win and we'll move on, and hopefully we'll carry the momentum of this win toward another game, even though that's not who we've been. So that's that, man. Good win, Lakers. Glad the threes actually fell tonight. The turnovers were still high though. We had 17 of them, and that after 22 last night, 17 tonight. Yeah, we're not doing well there, and we had been. Anytime the Lakers are somewhere around 14, from 11 to 14 turnovers, I'm all right. Once we start getting higher than that, we got problems. So that's where I'm at with that. And am I leaving anybody out? Carmelo Anthony was pretty active, here and there. I don't really mention Carmelo too much. He's other than to give him his praises for how hard he's played and how well he's played to start the season. But I just know, I look at him as almost like a Mr. June. You know what I mean? It's like, wake him up when it's playoff time. We ain't really got to worry too much about him. He'll give us his 15 points here. Some nights he'll give us a little bit, but when playoff time come around, I expect to see Carmelo Anthony be at his best, ready to light people up. And when I say light people up, I mean like 18, 15 points, but big points. You know what I mean? Big momentum shots. That's what I'm saying. So it's not about the regular season for Carmelo. He's playing for something big, and hopefully we can help him get it. So I'm looking at you, Rob. I'm looking at you, Jeannie. We got to make these changes so that we can salvage these guys' season. But we want to make it right, and I just don't. I don't think tonight's win was anything to be, encouraged by in terms of what we need to get better at. Nah, we just were able to get away with what it is we always do, and that's shooting too much. So my name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.